Hi, everybody. I'm Vera White, and I'm the former coordinator for 1001 New Worshiping Communities. I've been retired for a few months now, but the leadership team asked me to come back and talk to you a little bit about the missional theology that underlies the New Worshiping Communities movement in the Presbyterian Church USA, and why we talk about missional theology or a missional emphasis in New Worshiping Communities. Some people don't like that word missional, and I can understand that it's tricky and it has some baggage attached to it, but I don't know that we have a better one. So we're going to stick with it for now, at least. It comes from the word that means go. Go is a very small word, but it's been a very important word in Scripture, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. We worship a God who created the entire world, well, the entire cosmos, actually, and called it very good. A God who loves the entire creation and yearns for the reconciliation of the entire creation to God's self. And because of that, God created people to go out into the world and invite others into a relationship with God. We can go back to the call of Abraham and Sarah to be God's chosen people, to go leave their home, a place where they were comfortable, where they were wealthy, where they had so much, and really nothing, lacked for nothing, to go out to an unknown world, an unknown territory where they knew no one, realizing that they were leaving behind their land, their families, their friends, everything that was familiar. And this was a time without GPS or Holiday Inns or McDonald's along the road or Weather Channel 10-day forecasts or anything like that. They were just asked to get up and go so that many people would be blessed through their efforts. And I think that starting with that point and going on through many stories of Scripture, we find that followers of God have always been asked to leave the comfort of their homes, the places where they feel secure, and to go into unknown territory. The church, however, in the 20th century became pretty comfortable staying inside its own doors. Making disciples and attending to the spiritual growth and the learning and the education of those people who already considered themselves to be Christ followers, who already considered themselves to be people of faith. Now, how do I know we feel this way? Well, look at the conversations that church people have among themselves. They say things like, how many people attend your church? How many kids do you have in your youth group? How many children attended Vacation Bible School at your church last summer? How many people came to your spaghetti dinner? We count the fruitfulness of our ministry based on the number of people who come to the great programs that we put on. And then we become disappointed if the numbers decline, if there weren't as many children in this year's Vacation Bible School as there were in last year's Vacation Bible School, if we can't count an increase of butts in pews and bucks in the offering plate. A missional theology sort of turns that all on its head and says that a fruitful ministry doesn't count how many people come into the great programs that we put on, but that the people within the church, people who have hearts for Jesus Christ, people who are committed to being disciples, to being followers of God, go out into their community to get to know the people in their own neighborhoods, people who consider themselves to be disciples and people who have no idea what a disciple is, people who have maybe never walked into a church building and probably never will. For various reasons. Maybe they've been hurt by the church. Maybe they have no experience with church in their lives. Maybe they see church as an intimidating place or simply an irrelevant place. But people with a missional theology in their hearts follow God's command to get up and go into unknown territory, to build relationships with people that they don't know, and to invite those people into relationship with them and with God. And that's really what's at the heart of a missional theology. There are a couple of scripture passages that have been very important to the 1001 New Worshiping Communities movement. One is in Luke 10, where Jesus sends his disciples out 2 by 2 to all of the towns and villages where he himself intended to go. Jesus intended to go there. He hasn't gone there yet. So you could conclude from this that the people in these towns and villages would not yet see themselves as disciples of Jesus. So the disciples are going out into unfamiliar, unknown territory where they haven't been before. And they're going out there to be the guests of the people in these communities, not to be the leaders of them, not to be the instructors of them, not to be the bosses of them, but to be the guests of people in these communities, finding out what they care about, what breaks their hearts, what they're passionate about. And this is part of Jesus's plan to bring people into a relationship with God and with Jesus. Another passage that has been very important to this movement comes from the Old Testament, from the book of Jeremiah, and it takes place at a time when the people from Jerusalem have been taken away from their homes, from their country, from their comfort zones, and dragged off into a foreign territory. And in the passage that I'm talking about, the people from Jerusalem are asked to put down roots in this foreign country. And not only is it a foreign country, but it's enemy territory. But they're asked to put down roots, to get to know their neighbors, to plant gardens and to dig wells and to build houses and to become part of a new community. Now, I get that that wasn't easy for the Israelite people to do, and I also get that it's not easy for us to do. It's kind of scary to move outside of our comfort zones, out of the walls of our church, out of the doors of our homes, and get to know our neighbors. It's uncomfortable, but it's the most rewarding kind of ministry there is. One other piece of it that I just wanted to bring up is that God chose to be one who goes. God was not comfortable just being the creator and the manipulator of creation, but God chose to go in the person of Jesus into the world to walk beside us, to be part of the creation, to take on a body, and to feel the pain that we feel, the temptations that we are tempted by, the passion that that drive us to become one of us and to be among us. And it's in that same way that we are asked by God to get out and go and be part of a community, really loving the people that are around us, not doing it out of a sense of superiority or a sense of trying to fix people, but out of a sense of really desiring to be part of that community, sharing the pain and sharing the joy, sharing the passions, the gifts of that community. And I really think that that's what mission is all about, acting in the way that God acts among us, following Jesus by doing what Jesus did. So instead of looking at missional ministry as something that's intimidating, scary, beyond our scope of understanding, let's think of it as just going. Getting up and moving outside our doors and moving into our communities and getting to know the people that are there.